Let me also flag real quick, though, our understanding is NES will have a press conference availability at 4:30. Also, Darkenya and Waste Services have brought some information that can be in the back, both on evictions and then on resumption of trash collection. So let's start up here again with Emily.
So yesterday, House Speaker Cameron Sexton said the General Assembly will explore every option available with the stance NES cannot stay the same. NES failed not some customers, but all. Mayor, what's your response given the history of the General Assembly wanting to take over entities in Nashville? This happened both with your former predecessor, Mayor Cooper, and has happened in your administration?
Yeah, I think we're going to be interested to see what comes out of those discussions. Many things do get discussed at the General Assembly that don't always reach the point of legislation. Darren Jernigan on our team is our Director of State and Federal Affairs. We'll make sure he continues to stay in touch with the Speaker's office and caucuses in both parties. We'll track what they're discussing. We have many assets that I think there's a lot of discussion about whether they are local or regional assets. We know NES does have a service area that expands beyond the boundaries of Nashville and Davidson County. But again, I'm going to say as we work through this, our preference is always going to be to have local control over things that are local assets.
Yeah, Nira?
Yeah, to be in a context before I making the question, did you say the funds, do you have it, is around $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have an interview before you guys with Conexión, and they say they received it in the first step, $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of the immigrant community isn't not the majority, but it's a lot of people of the immigrant community is in the zip code 37115, where it's around, NES say around 20,000 people or clients without electricity. If you divide in the regular rent for 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, that $25,000 will be, the rent normally is around 2,000, 2,500. If you divide, you are only helping my community for 10 persons. Did you think maybe you can upgrade a little bit more money for helping that people?
Yeah, let's have the mayor start, and then Darkenya or maybe Erica both can help you with that.
I think let's talk to Erica about funds there, because I think that's where that's going to come from. So yes,
and by the way, thank you so much for counting my people and helping my people.
And we know, we've talked already before that we knew some people were reluctant to come to congregate shelters. It is going to be still very important for us to assess needs through NashvilleResponds.org or 211. We know that there may be some people not even comfortable sharing enough information there. We're going to continue to work with other community-based organizations, and we'll make sure that the VOAD process, Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster, is aware of those needs and concerns. I'll say this first week we've made sure we could stand up the fund, raise sufficient money. We're not done there too. We know the need is going to be great. I think you heard Erica say that. And again, that was just day one release of funds, and it is being allocated as we start to hear needs. So we've had several hundred people speak to that, but Erica, I don't know if you want to offer some more context there as well.
And thank you for the question. Yes, so as the dollars come in, we're reporting out on dollars as they have been committed. And as dollars come in and they become realized in-house, we're beginning to get those dollars out to the community. And so what that looks like is just yesterday, that was the first round of funding that went out to organizations just to get the fund started and active within the community. You will see additional dollars go out towards the end of this week is what we hope. And so this will only be the first round. Yes, thank you.
And then, Darkenya, I know you mentioned Hispanic Bar. It might be worth also talking about language access for people coming to Eviction Right to Counsel.
When we established the Eviction Right to Counsel program, again, in conjunction with with Metro, it was very intentional on our part to not only have the Legal Aid Society involved, but to have the intentional partnership with the Nashville Hispanic Bar Association so that we had a forward-facing effort to address all of our client community, all of the folks in our community. And so all folks are welcome to come to the program and receive assistance from the program, of course, as it is available to offer. The flyers we actually brought today are translated into about 4 different languages, but generally speaking, we translate all of our information into at least 7 different languages, those being the 7 most prominent languages within our area. And so no matter the language or assistance, we stand ready to assist, and we partner with Rooftop to be able to assist in that rental assistance, because sometimes it's a little bit more than just paying the rent. There's maybe some negotiation that needs to take place and a court order that may need to go into place, and we leverage those funds to be able to do that and to ensure that landlords get the funding that they deserve as homeowners or building owners.
Great, thank you.
And Nira, you and Extrema do a great job of reaching the community. So any help that you can give to us of having them fill out the needs tracker, call 211. We just need to know about the need. That's really the biggest barrier to getting help to a lot of folks. We've got about time for 2 more for the mayor, so let's go to Austin and then Madeline.
And another preemption question for you, since we spoke a little bit earlier about how state preemption is one thing that kind of limits our options in terms of rent moratoriums. Are there other ways that you anticipate any sort of state preemption kind of getting in the way of things that we can do to respond as recovery efforts shift away from kind of the initial response, or is that it?
I'd say it's going to be on a to be determined basis. I mean, we've actually had several points of very helpful state response. The governor's executive order, the expedited disaster request, all of these things have actually helped our response. We've had everything from support from the Tennessee National Guard. We've had Tennessee forestry crews, seeing these resources on the ground, helping accelerate the process of power restoration. There's been connections with TEMA and ROEM and VOAD process for distribution of generators. So I would say, I look at it from both dimensions. There are places where the state has been actively helpful. There's also things where this, like the preemptive activity on the Uniform Landlord-Tenant Act, that was already in place before this happened. That was not something that the state did in this moment to create an obstacle. It was an existing obstacle. That's the first one I think we've encountered so far that might limit our ability to offer eviction relief specifically for people whose impact is directly from storm-related events. But, we'll be looking at that. We are actively in conversation with multiple legislators, actively in conversation with the governor's office, actively in conversation with both state and federal officials of all types as we try to make the overall response as strong as it can be for Nashville.
Yeah, Madeline.
Okay, so Mayor, all the assistance from the community, from these nonprofits has been, extraordinary, especially for these people that are very vulnerable. But with that vulnerability comes stability in these times. A lot of these people still do not have power, including one person I spoke to today. He is a formerly homeless veteran who has done everything he can to get into housing, and he finally got into housing, but of course, no power. It's been a week, and they're not supposed to get their power until Sunday. That's what the estimate is. I guess for those kinds of situations, of course, this, assistance helps. But is there anything that the city can do to prioritize certain cases, especially like this one?
I'll say it that way. If you look at how we've prioritized, power restoration is the top priority because the faster we can get that done, the less there is a need for humanitarian response. Where we're responding on the humanitarian front, it is life safety first, and then the stability you're talking about as the next concern. I'd offer in that particular story, we have an Office of Veteran Services. Make sure in those cases, for any veteran who is out there who's had housing instability in this moment, make sure you're in contact with that office. Operation Stand Down, I'm sure if he just got housing, that may have already been a vehicle for him, but Operation Stand Down remains another critical partner. If he has other stability needs or other, any kind of human services needs right now, that is where 211 and NashvilleResponds.org remain critical for us to understand what things. I know displacement, especially if you've just gotten housing, is particularly challenging. But if there are other things that would help stabilize, that's exactly what all these wraparound services are intended to do. I think you've heard Director Chief Swan talk about it many times, but we are trying to meet everybody's needs, and if you call us with a need, we are going to have somebody there to try to meet that need. So if he's got something active, if anybody has anything active right now, 211, NashvilleResponds.org, you could come to a shelter site, request transportation assistance there, and if you had a need that couldn't be immediately served through 211 or NashvilleResponds.org and you need it today and in person, we're going to have people there.
Mayor, I
All
think
right,
you've got to run.
Thank you all.
But we're happy to take any other questions. Yeah, Steve.
So I do have some questions, possibly for NDOT, but this is really specifically, like, some people are questioning, we know how to contact NES if we have a power outage, but for those trees that have been pulling on power line and, weatherheads or private property issues, just like, say like I removed a tree from a power line, how do I let NES know that it's been done and they can come out and do the repairs?
Yeah, I think that's a question that I would pose to them at 4:30. I don't want to give you an incomplete answer. I believe that there's several options there, but I would pose that to NES. Yeah, let's one more. Well, go one more. We'll let you go one more.
And then some people are saying that the shelter at the fairgrounds has closed. Is that true, and are others closing as well?
Yeah, Director Chief Swan spoke to that if you want to mention it again, but as he stated, that's entirely need-based. They had a little over 200 in the shelters, and so we'll continue to assess need and make those decisions as needed. Yeah, Steve.
With the brush collection, is there guidance for people who might not have your typical yard or sidewalk to put the brush on?
Yeah, Philip, you want to take that?
Alex, I got a question for you too.
Sure, come to you next.
Yes, it'll be treated just like your brush. We'll ask everybody to get it up to the curb or back of the sidewalk. We're just asking everybody to work with us, not put it on the sidewalk or in the bicycle lane or in a lane of traffic.
What's an example of what you're talking about?
A house that's right up, and doesn't have a yard really, so there's not really a place other than the street.
If it's got a yard or an alley, if it's got a backside that we can get to, if it's got a service alley back there we can service, or get it on the curb. If you get it on the curb, if there are some circumstances out there, you can put in a request to hub.nashville.gov, and it'll get to NDOT, and we can come out and take a look if you've got some kind of circumstance we're not familiar with. But it's treated like all brush.
Hang on, I think Nikki has one for Philip.
I live in Franklin, and I had a tree fall in my front yard out in the street, and I got it cleaned up. But they told me to make it no bigger than 6 to 7 feet long.
Yes, sir.
It's sort of fit in the back of a pickup truck is what they said. If
Well-
anything longer, they wouldn't pick it up.
Correct. Well, we've suspended that in Davidson County. We're picking up any size, any diameter, any length. Gets to the curb, we're going to pick it up.
And no restrictions on the size of the pile either. Yeah, Emily?
Has the mayor's office spoken to Metro Legal about their authority with NES and the board potentially vacating it?
It's a conversation that has come up in the office, but have not received an answer yet. And I know that the mayor is still reviewing what his options would be. So that's not to say that that is something he's leaning toward, but we've not received a crystal clear answer on that yet. Anything further? Anything back? Dan?
For whoever, I guess, can answer this, for customers who were without power, couldn't be in their homes for however long, are they still expected to pay utility bills? Will there be some sort of forgiveness, some sort of stipend, reduction? Are they expected to pay it, or does this office expect NES to create a financial equity program or something?
So I would pose that question to NES at 4:30. What I can say is that anybody who has experienced hardship born out of this storm, that's exactly what the needs that Erica and Darkenya have been talking about are here for. And so all of the original organizations that received the initial money works in the financial assistance space or in the housing space in some way. And so going to the needs tracker, calling 211 to let us know about that acute need allows us to go from recovery to response and to help those individuals. But as far as the billing cadence related to NES, I would ask them that directly. Yeah. Anything further? All right. Thanks, everybody.